Hello everybody and welcome to another video with Print Design Academy here, where we are teaching graphic designers to be experts in print design. And one of my favorite ways to do that is by taking print that's already out there in the world, already existing, and showing how it was made, talking about the materials, talking about any sort of file information that you would need to know in order to create something similar. So this is kind of an unboxing, but also kind of a teaching thing, and it's gonna be good. Now, full transparency, this is sort of a re-unboxing because my kids already got to this. They already got a chance to take a look at it, see what it was all about. So I'm opening it up again on camera because it's so cool and something I really want to share with you, to tell you how it was made and what went into it. But the shrink wrap's already taken off and that kind of thing. So it's a re-unboxing. Give me a break. So today I am unboxing the Hingston and Olsen Publishers short story advent calendar. Now, I have seen this thing, they've put these out for 4 or 5 years now, and I've seen them every year and gone, you know what? That would be cool. Not even from a print standpoint, but just an appreciation of stories and books in that tangible written form, and just a clever idea, a short story advent calendar. So this is this year's model. So this one is for this year, and obviously I haven't read any of the books yet. We're still November here. But I wanted you to get a chance to see what this piece was all about and what went into it and why I think it's so freaking cool. So let's get to it. Opening the box, right there. Look, as soon as you open it, it's in your face. In your face. The short story advent calendar, edited and introduced by Alberto Manguel. So he's the selected editor and introducer of these particular stories. So let's get that out of the way. Oh, that was exceptionally louder than I expected. So here it is, the short story advent calendar. This is like a sort of a case-bound box with an open end to really show all of these books. There are 26. There are 26 little booklets in here, 1 to 25 for December, obviously, leading up to Christmas, and then a brochure in here that talks about the editor and a little bit of story behind these stories. Now, let's talk about the print and manufacture of this thing. Like I said, it is a case-bound box, or it's what they call a case-bound. It's basically a really thick cover stock that gets wrapped in a printed text weight. So let's get a closer look at that particular piece. Put the books aside here. So there it is. You got an open end here. Get my face out of there. Open end here. Then you've got obviously all the other sides. Now when you look closely at this, you can actually see sort of the seams of the text weight paper, because it literally is text weight paper that has a die cut that then glues and wraps around this rigid box to give it, to put the graphics on it. So let's get a closer look at the graphics on this thing. We've got what I'm gonna guess as a couple of Pantones in here, just because they're nice. And so it looks to me, and I can't find my loop to get a real good close look in there. That's the problem with loops. You almost need like a necklace to like hang around your neck, like, the glasses necklace. Anyways. It looks to me like it's got Pantone print on it. This deep foresty green color, also a metallic for these waves, sort of wave design around it. And there's some little spots of gold hot foil. So I like that touch. There's also a light color Pantone, a lighter blue color for the short story advent calendar and some of the other details here. Also on that light blue color, there's a spot gloss varnish. So when you get it in the light, you really see that pop, which is a nice little touch to it. Now when you look inside this box, this is going to be a tough angle to get, but look inside this box, you can actually see where the text weight paper has wrapped around the ends and glued down on the inside of the box. Now the other thing I really appreciate about this is when you look inside this box, you could have used any cheap craft board or white board just to build up that thickness of the box, but they didn't. They actually went with a deep forest green uncoated paper, which is going to cost a little bit more on the manufacturing side, but it's just that little detail that's like, we really went for it with this piece to give you a high quality product. So beautiful job there, nice little detail, nice little touch. You can see where the text weight folds over and is glued in on all sides. And again, like I said, you can see the seams at the top on where that text weight paper was actually wrapped around that rigid box. So super nice job there. Just so you know, the designer of this thing was Natalie Olsen. So the visual theme of this calendar in the books was designed by Natalie Olsen. I'll tag her down in the comments or in the description here of this unboxing, so you can give her some props and follow on Instagram. Hopefully I can find her on Instagram. Yeah, we'll make it work. Yeah, so that's a nice piece, a nice touch. I really like the rigid box. It's a nice touch. So getting into the books here. Now, each of these books has that little like clear wafer seal on the end of it, which is cool, right? It's like, ooh, you can't open it. It just adds to that like opening effect of, you know, each day of December, you know, 1st to the 25th. When you're opening and looking at these books, you're able to, you know, you're not opening a perforated window on a chocolate calendar, but you know, you kind of got to like slice it open to get into it on that day. So I like that. I like that little touch. So here's all the books, all 25, 26 of them. I am going to open one. It's early. I want to just talk to you about the print. I know it's not December 1st, but I'm here to share the print with you. So let's get into one of these things. I like that. Each of them has the corresponding number. So day 1, day 2, day 3, days 4, 6, day 7, day 8, day 9, day 10, day 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 24, and 25, all 25. Yep, so 1 to 25 there. But looking inside, booklet number 1 here, we've got a coated, no, it's probably a cover, probably an 80-pound cover, coated text for the covers of these books. And then on the inside, the actual printed text pages for the story portion of it is an uncoated stock. So I like that because it just has that higher readability, and it feels like it's got that book vibe, that book feel, right? Which is what it is. It's not just some printed brochure, but it's a book. It's a little book. So I like that. I like that. Nice choice in materials, nice choice in papers. A little bit of detail about the author in the back of each of these, each of the books. So I'm looking forward to reading them and getting into them. In terms of print, we've got full color print on the outside cover here. On the inside cover, again, full color print. Could actually be digitally printed, which wouldn't surprise me depending on the quantities that they produced of these books, but I don't think they went the full offset Pantone routes that they did with the case-bound portion of this project, which is fine. And then the inside text pages, obviously just black ink for basic text. You know what I'm saying? So let's talk now about the file side first of the case-bound portion, and then we'll get into the sort of file details on the books. So for this case-bound piece, there will have been or would have been a die line that they would have had to lay out the artwork to. Now, the reason for that is that you die cut out that text weight piece, and it would have kind of a strange looking shape, but that die allows it to wrap around this case-bound book portion. Without that die, you'd have ugly creases and folded, like it's not pretty. It's not pretty. You need a die for something like this. So in your file, you're setting up your file to a die line. So you are laying out the direction of the text, the positioning of the logo, so that when it all folds together and comes together, it looks like it does, like this, and everything's in the right spot. Also in your file, you will have your artwork layers, and within those layers, your swatches will be detailed out to the specific Pantone colors or CMYK that were used in your particular piece. In the case of this one, I'm pretty sure that it would be Pantone. So you'd have your different Pantones within that artwork layer. No other colors because you don't need them. You don't need the other colors. You don't want to have rogue hex codes and rogue other PMS colors that aren't actually in your final file. Only the swatches that you need to produce. in your piece. So also in there, you will have a layer called foil. You'll have a separate layer within that file to detail out where these little foil stamping highlights are to go in position in relation to the rest of your artwork in your file. That way, when the printer's looking at that file, they can very easily pull that layer out and get a foil die made, because you need to get a die made for a foil as well. And that'll be it. That'll be it for that file. You'll have your bleed, bleeding off the edges of that die line to account for any sort of movement within manufacturing. Now the rest of it's not your problem. So moving into the books, I'll just take number 1 here for example. So in your file, you'd have your artwork layer for your cover and also for your body text. You'd have your pages laid out within your document, preferably InDesign, to sort of lay out that's the real booklet, the booklet software that you want to be working with. And another thing to note with booklet files is, especially if they are saddle stitched like this one is with staples binding it together, you want to make sure that you are in page counts multiples of 4. 4, because you can't insert a single piece of paper into this. It has to be stitched in and bound and then folded in half. So if you take an 8.5 by 11 piece of paper and you fold it in half down the middle, in print terms, that's 4 pages. Got it? So in multiples of 4, you'd have your cover file, you'd have your text file, you have your artwork layer. There's no die lines required for these. That's it. And then swatches, just make sure you're using your CMYK or your Pantones, and that's the only colors in there. Make it nice and neat and organized. Again, account for your bleed outside of your trim lines of the booklet size that you're using. So make sure you're extending 3 millimeters, 1/8 inch beyond that cut line, that trim line, just to give your printer some manufacturing flexibility. And happy days. So there it is. That is the unboxing video for the short story advent calendar for this year from Hingston and Olsen Publishers. It's a beautiful piece. If you have the opportunity to get one, definitely do. Not only for the print and designer side in you, but short stories. Everybody loves reading. It's awesome to continue that. I know my kids are going to be going through these books each day just like I am, so it's definitely going to get some use. We've talked about materials. We've talked about how it came together. We've talked about the file side of things. So I hope that unboxing this, not only are you excited about this particular piece from these publishers, but also excited to create something like this in print and have a little bit deeper understanding of how it's created and what goes into it on the file side. So that's it. So if you're interested in learning more about print design and how these things are created, definitely check out this video right here, which will tell you about the craft beer label side of things and how some of those are made. It's good. It's good.